the Denver Post, reporting that the deal is finally done. The Carmelo Anthony trade saga is finally over. Anthony going to his desired destination, Madison Square Garden, to play with the Knicks. This a very detail-oriented trade, so we're going to show you all the components so you can get an idea of why this took so long. The Knicks get Anthony, point guard Chauncey Billups, Shelden Williams, Anthony Carter, and former Knick, now going back to the Knicks, Renaldo Balkman. The Denver Nuggets will get Danilo, Gallinari, Raymond, Felton, Wilson, Chandler, 3 starters. Timofey Mozgov also has been starting lately for the Knicks. So 4 Knicks starters, a first-round pick coming from the Warriors, 2 second-round picks, and $3 million in cash. Our J.A. Donde has tweeted, this is a great deal for the Denver Nuggets. Let's welcome in now to SportsCenter ESPN NBA insider Mark Stein. And Mark, obviously the details are just now coming in, but how did this deal finally get done?
You also got to throw Minnesota in there, too. They're actually in this as well with Anthony Randolph and Eddie Curry are going to wind up with the Wolves as part of it. But basically, Denver resisted for a while, for really the whole season. Everyone knew that Carmelo wanted to end up in New York, but Denver kept holding out and pushing the Knicks to put more and more in. And with it emerging, really, that the Nuggets now will be able to turn around and move a couple of these parts, Raymond, Felton, and Mozgov, most notably, very high likelihood that the Nuggets will turn around and trade those guys before the deadline on Thursday. So the Nuggets might be able to get even more than they have right now, and that, I think, is what pushed this over the line for them. Denver definitely like New Jersey's offer better, but they're not done dealing now, and we'll see how much more they can get in the next 72 hours.
Yeah, Mark, earlier today, a lot of reports that Mozgov was the one piece of the puzzle the Nuggets wanted, the Knicks were unwilling to get. So obviously at some point today they were willing to give that up. Was that the key piece of the Nuggets puzzle?
Probably to push it over the finish line. I think the main thing was the Knicks made the decision that we've got to get this guy no matter how much we give up. For weeks, months even, Donnie Walsh and Mike D'Antoni really didn't want to go this far and give all this up, basically strip away the depth of this team to bring Carmelo in, because at the top of the East, if you don't have a lot behind Carmelo Anthony and Amari Stoudemire, you're not going to win the East. But I think the Knicks came to the conclusion that it was more important to get the star and worry about the supporting cast later, and if they have to rebuild the supporting cast, that's preferable to not having a second star.
Yeah, when you look at the 4 guys that the Knicks gave up, 4 starters are now gone. From a Knicks perspective, how happy are they with the supporting cast they're getting along with Carmelo Anthony, do you think?
Well, we've heard for weeks and weeks that Donnie Walsh and Mike D'Antoni really weren't sold on giving up this much. So is it unanimous happiness through the whole organization? I think they're going to have to do a selling job on us on that one. But Amari Stoudemire, I know he's thrilled. He really wanted to play with Carmelo Anthony. Now they do have 2 legit top-flight stars. Are they going to be able to make further moves to get a 3rd star in there? I mean, that will be determined by the next collective bargaining agreement when we see how tough the cap is, how much room the Knicks are going to have when you have Carmelo and Amari. Are they going to have any more wiggle room to play with to go out and get another marquee free agent, or are they going to have to do it some other way?
I know you probably don't have the numbers right in front of you right now, but as far as this season right now is concerned, is there any way the Knicks could bolster their lineup before the trade deadline for the final 2 months of the season?
That's unlikely. They're going to have to make kind of smaller moves. Like, you can pretty much expect that they'll bring back Earl Barron, who, a low-cost center that they had at the end of last season and did really well. But that's the kind of moves they're looking to make now. This just became a mission of you have to get Carmelo at virtually all costs. And let's face it, this is the guy that James Dolan wanted. But I also think it's the guy Amari Stoudemire wanted too. There's no question the Knicks were one of the surprising stories of the first half. Raymond Felton, until he tailed off after the turn of the year. I mean, he was getting early mention as a potential all-star contender in the East, but they did not have a second star at Amari's level, and you can make the argument that you need those two, and you can much easier rebuild a bench than you can find a second star.
Yeah, Mark, neither one of these teams is probably going to do much in the playoffs this season, but why did this take so very long to get it done when both teams wanted to get it done?
Well, because the Nets offer really did appeal more to Denver for the bulk of the season, but it just became an issue where, the Nets made it clear they were not going to do this unless Carmelo agreed to an extension as part of the deal. And Carmelo resisted that. Look how long it took just to get Carmelo and Mikhail Prokhorov in the same room together. Now, the Nuggets could have waited the rest of the week and kept the pressure on Carmelo and kept trying for the next 2 or 3 days to convince him to sign the deal in New Jersey so they could have made their A trade. But by doing this now, by getting this done tonight, they've given themselves 2 full days and a day and a half, or more than half the day on Thursday till the 3 o'clock deadline to go out and make more moves. And again, Felton's going to be in play, Mozgov's going to be in play, Nene, J.R. Smith. There's a chance that Denver could move 2 of those guys, maybe even all 4 of those guys in the next week. So this is, by doing this now, getting this Knicks deal done, the Nuggets have a chance to go forward and keep reshaping their team here.
All right, very good. Certainly a fluid situation. With the latest on our breaking news, Carmelo Anthony traded to the New York Knicks. Mark Stein. Thank you, Mark.